Welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice, because today we are doing another episode of Frightful Features, or Frightful Fridays, either way. And this one will be about Hell House LLC. I've been looking for a movie to watch for this, and over time, when I get into like Shudder or Screambox, this movie keeps coming up. So I was like, okay, this sort of means that I should watch it. I went in really not knowing what to expect. But the basic premise of this is it's a documentary about a, those haunted houses they have on Halloween, that open up last couple days of September, early October, and go all the way through Halloween. Well, this is a documentary about one of those called Hell House, where there is a massacre that takes place on opening night in 2008. But it's also it's not a real documentary, and it's also a found footage movie. So the movie starts out with news reports about, they're just on the scene. No one knows what's going on. There's people coming out. There's reports of a bunch of people dead, a few injured. It switches to some video that was uploaded onto YouTube on a smartphone. So you just kind of get the basic gist that, hey, something really bad has happened. And then it goes to the documentary woman talking to a couple people about the history of the house and, what happened, and, it's supposedly haunted. And they interviewed a woman who was a survivor from one of the people who went in, and they found one of the people who put the thing on, because most of them were dead, except for they just couldn't find her, and they found her. And she pulls out a bag of videotapes, or tapes. The people had been videotaping their progress from when they first arrive into this town up until opening night. So this is kind of a cool idea. It's the documentary. You're doing that. It incorporates segments of the progress of them putting the house together, and then every once in a while you get the little cell phone footage. And it's kind of neat because there is a difference in the quality of the shots, which I thought was kind of neat. And this was kind of a low-budget movie, but you really couldn't tell. They did a really good job. First of all, the story was just fantastic. I mean, it's you've got the slaughter, the killing. You don't know what happens. No one does. I mean, it was one of the things about this supposedly is there was a huge cover-up. The police and everybody was just saying it was like a pipe burst or something like that. And everyone knows that's a bunch of horse pucky. And so that's the point of this documentary, is to find out what happened. And then the girl pulls out this bag of tapes. And so that's being put into the documentary. You know, because one of the people being interviewed will say something about this, and they'll cut to, you know, with little jumps in time. You get to see them when they arrive. They're all in kind of a good mood, and this place is just this creepy old hotel, which you find out was haunted. And in the basement, where they're going to have the final room of the haunted house, there's a big pentagram on the wall, which, you know, none of the people who rented the place to do this thing put up there. And supposedly the guy who had it before had these really weird rituals there, and there's some disappearances of guests, and he committed suicide because he was under suspicion of them. But creepy things start to happen as you're going along. You know, like someone will be talking to the video camera, and you'll see someone behind him, and he'll turn around and he'll start talking to them, thinking it's somebody, and the person just walks out. So this is really weird, creepy stuff, and it just ratchets the tension up over time. It's not immediate, but it just kind of builds and builds, and you can see these people kind of falling apart, getting more and more and more freaked out. And the leader of the group's like, dude, we've got to do this, you know. We've got to do this. And he's like, there's a reason why we have to do this. And in the house, there's little places where there's like interference, so the camera cuts out, and the explanation of that is not in there. And near the end, the last, say, 20 minutes of it is just one hell of a ride. It all kind of comes together, and you sort of see kind of what happens down there, but there's still no real explanation. I mean, you see more than what the people was being released, and see, you know, what happens to the people, but there's still real no explanation. So that is such a good way they did it. Was you explore it, you see what happens, but you still don't know what the actual hell was going on. It may not sound like it's satisfying, but it is. It's such a good movie that I don't really like using this word much, but it's a slow burn. It builds and builds and builds, and it's not the type of horror like you have with a what do you call it, Friday the 13th, or in Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's just, you know, slasher, you know, doing all this stuff. It's the more of the actual scary tension type of movie where it builds and builds. So you don't realize that, you know, until most, you know, by the time you feel it, it's already on you, and you're just like, oh, geez, this is good. And I really recommend it. It's better than some of the high budget movies that I've seen, which were, you know, not anywhere near as good as this one. The performances are, you know, probably not going to win any Academy Awards on it, but it's not. I'm not saying they're bad, you know, but they're effective, and they do. Performances are really good. The people are somewhat likable, but you find out that you actually kind of care what's going on with them. You want to see what happens to them, and the ending is really satisfactory, and it's just the payoff is awesome. So, and I'm really kind of annoyed that it took me this long to watch it. And there is a 2 and 3 out, I think. And I will get to work on those. Probably do those for the next, one of them for the next episode. But I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. And if you like horror movies, if you like kind of found footage, more tension, scary movies than slasher types, this is the one for you to watch and check it out. Anyway, let me know if you've seen it and what you think of it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, most of all, enjoy your scary movies.